That comes 7 okay. It has been submitted. So when you're not in her office, okay. So this is the thing. They give a directive that count 7 doesn't exist in law. So that the should amend it, change it, it doesn't exist. They refuse. I still play to that same faulty law.
Yes, it was an error.
It's not an error, big error. So I want them to correct
that. That was one of the motions we asked. That appeal should be set aside.
That's correct.
And it has not been heard.
So this morning, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu went to Supreme Court to file a suit for Supreme Court to redress their error. You know that yesterday I made a video talking about how Nnamdi Kanu went to Court of Appeal to make sure that the proceedings of James Omotosho will not be halted, or judgment will not take place on that 20, because what is needed has not been done. They ought to tell him the portion of the Constitution, written laws that they are using to judge him. This is one thing that is common in the courts of law. And according to lawyers, I'm not a lawyer, that is what the judge and the prosecution team ought to do. You are charging somebody, you brought somebody to court, you drag him to court, then you have to show him the constitutional provisions by which you dragged him to court. It's not just okay to keep somebody in the dark, like you committed this offense. Maybe you can even tell somebody you took water from the well, so because of that we are taking you to jail. If we allow this thing to continue, you might just wake up. Somebody will tell you that you woke up this morning late, you are going to prison. It's a treasonable offense without the constitutional provision that is backing his claim. That is what Nnamdi Kanu went to appeal court for, according to the lawyers. The issue of Nnamdi Kanu in Supreme Court today, I think it surprises a lot of people. It's not a surprise. Often we talk about what Supreme Court ruling was. The Supreme Court that did not condemn Nnamdi Kanu, accused the federal government of sending soldiers to kill Nnamdi Kanu, which is against his fundamental human right. Accused the Nigerian government of kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya, which is against his fundamental human right. And Supreme Court ruled that you cannot bring somebody, kidnap somebody and start, charging the person to court. Supreme Court also ruled about the issue of bailing, that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail, and so on and so forth. So it was surprising that after ruling against the federal government, the same Supreme Court could not have the courage to say that we are discharging and acquitting this man. Why? Because of the current administration, then Muhammadu Buhari's administration. So they have to tell Nnamdi Kanu, okay, return to Federal High Court and start off from there. And there is a subsisting court judgment, Federal High Court judgments that the federal government did not appeal. In a country where the government chooses the law to obey, the court order to obey, and the court order not to obey, you know that the prosecution is all about interest. It's persecution, not prosecution any longer, because it is being driven by interest of political actors, not because of the constitutional provision that the man violated, but there are some certain group of people that don't just want this man to be released. I was listening to the National Association of Nigerian Students yesterday, his article. You saw or you heard what he said about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, what transpired when he was in detention of the DSS. You see, this is the story of everyone who have ever listened to Nnamdi Kanu or be with Nnamdi Kanu. There are a lot of false narrative. They doctor his videos, send it across. They doctor his videos, send it to people for them to hate him. They buy off media. You can see what Vanguard News, all these newspapers report, Daily Times, Premium Times, Channel Television. They report nonsense about Nnamdi Kanu. These are people who have never done any investigation. They have never done any findings about Nnamdi Kanu. These are people who are in possession of the Supreme Court judgment, but they are afraid to publish it because their paymasters will no longer pay them. Their paymasters who service them with brand envelope is going to say, why did you put for this? Why can't you people think that a whole Supreme Court judgment about Nnamdi Kanu is not in the public space? Nobody dared bringing it out. I shared it with Drive. That was January this year. You understand? So a lot of people are hiding the truth about Nnamdi Kanu. But you see, you can't hide this truth forever. The worst thing that happened to some people who feel that this country belongs to them is Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu happened to them. They did not predict his coming. They did not predict his rising. After the Boko Haram gave people from the south and Christians ultimatum to leave northern Nigeria in the year 2012. They started killing after the UN resolution on sectarian movement in Nigeria in 2012. You can go and fact check me, October 1st, 2012. So it took UN up to 6 months to even have a sitting when people have been massacred in the northern Nigeria. So someone have to rise. That, predicts the rising of Nnamdi Kanu in 2012, formation of Radio Biafra. And the thing started moving little by little until the APC government led by Tinubu and Buhari coalition in 2015, when they imported terrorists, Fulani militias from Sahel, according to them, not according to Coach Happy myself. Kuwa Baraje and the rest of them who are in the coalition, they came to the national television to admit that they imported terrorists into the country. So that 2014, Nnamdi Kanu said, no, this is not matter of radio issue again. I have to come back to Nigeria because these people are about to, change the country, do everything, change people's culture, use terrorism at gunpoint to convert some people into Sharia state. And you have to start coming back. Now, ask yourself this question. Don't take me for granted. Don't take my words for it. Go and do your investigation about what I'm saying. Ask yourself, those who imported the terrorists into the country, why have they not tried them? Have you asked yourself this question? Or you think that everything we come out here to say that we are joking? We know the implication of coming out to say what is not real, especially when you have a global attention, when you have a lot of people watching you. You dare not say what is not real. I mean, the APC government, coalition led by Tinubu, the current president, and Muhammadu Buhari, the former president, now late, they imported terrorists into the country. And up to today, no lawyer, no influencer, no judge, no newspaper is challenging these people. Why do you import the bandits that is now killing people? Nobody's talking about this. This is a very disgraceful nation. It's a disgraced nation. And amidst all these things, these people still went to America to tell America to come and help remove Jonathan. Jonathan can fight insecurity. I saw this NSA, National Security Advisor about in the United States, begging them to come and kill the Fulani militia, to come and kill the jihadists. This NSA. You understand? So this man went to America to beg America to come and kill the jihadists. Now, after so many years, America want to come in now. The same man is telling you that America should not come. See, you people, I don't want to use some certain words. You understand? But how do black people think? Our IQ is too low. There is nothing you tell me. Our IQ is too low. It's too low. So Africans, especially Nigerians, are only people who jump into trend without knowing the, where everything started. Africans are the only people who can jump into something without understanding the process. This thing is happening all angle of our life. Someone will have headache. They will just rush to chemist. Pharmacy. Oh, please, I need a paracetamol. Who told you that headache is the real thing happening to you? Maybe you have shortage of blood that resulted to headache. So Africans don't like to go to the deep root of the effect. They try to see the effect and take down the effect. If you take down the effect of something, there is a root cause of the effect. The thing will persist, and that is why you people will continue to move around and think that you can solve anything in Nigeria. You can't. This insecurity situation it's not all about whether soldiers fight, soldiers did not fight. You people are wasting your time. As far as people in government, people are so rock are sponsoring this insecurity in Nigeria, it can't end. And these are the reasons why Nnamdi Kanu said, no, I need my sovereign state of Biafra. Can you imagine that these people started supporting, people to call them IPOB? They arm people. They started killing. They use it to spoil the name of IPOB. You can ask Opus of them, man. He knows what I'm saying. You can ask so many of them from the Southeast, Rocha, Sokoro, Chad. They understand that it is a politics of insecurity that brought Southeast to the way it is, that is not Nnamdi Kanu. If you have Opus of them, ask in this thing that I am saying. After all, I was in the audience where Opus of them was telling us that it's not Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, all those things that is causing insecurity in the Southeast, that it is the politicians as well. These are everything we know, but someone will come out because they hate Nnamdi Kanu, because they don't want this man, because of his influence, integrity, because of the way the man is. Let me tell you, the federal government of Nigeria cannot jail Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, let court do whatever they want to do. Let them convict him. The man is not guilty. Everybody knows the truth, what is around now. So don't look at whatever these people are doing. They paid so many people to campaign against Nnamdi Kanu, to do so many things against Nnamdi Kanu. But let me ask a question. How long will they continue to do this? The people who are arming the bandits, everything, have you seen any arrest? The bandits killing, have you seen any arrest? Absolutely no. So this thing, this injustice is not going to last. Okay, this injustice is not going to last. I even praise Nnamdi Kanu for his courage. If it is so many people, they could have even given up this quest. Because some people they are fighting don't understand the importance of what Nnamdi Kanu is doing for them. A lot of people are not just, they are not just doing the right thing towards the help Nnamdi Kanu rendered to them. People from Middle Belt, every now and then, if I talk with them, they ever pray to have somebody to rise among them, someone like Nnamdi Kanu to rise among them. And Igbo, the southeastern Nigeria, Enugu, Ehamofu, part of Ebonyi, ask this Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. Dave Umahi was on TV crying that Fulanis have taken over Ebonyi that time. Everything happening in Plateau, Benue is supposed to be worse in the southeast. Nnamdi Kanu stop it single-handedly. You can go and fact check. Ask David Umahi, ask Opuzodema. You don't know what is going on, so stop jumping into issues. So this is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu went back to Supreme Court, for them to readdress the judicial rascality and the court process that he see that it's not fair. And that is what everybody sees as well. This man down on that spoke extensively about the issue of Supreme Court and Nnamdi Kanu.
So if anybody, when Nigerian citizens see the details of the Supreme Court statement today, they will marvel at how, after saying all these illegalities that the federal government and their security agencies committed, all they had to do was that the primary court said, the appeal court said that the primary court had no jurisdiction. So they condemned the appeal court for taking that decision. Therefore, because the primary court had jurisdiction, the case should go back to them. So if in all these atrocities they committed, they had killed Nnamdi Kanu, what will be the basis of the primary court and its jurisdiction? What will be the basis of it? When I studied, I talked about judicial rascality. So what it empowers is security rascality. Because you cannot tell other police, army, navy, air force, condemn them plainly, and then you exonerate them. So you give them license to kill Nigerians, just like they are doing in Plateau, killing people. They are doing in Benue. Herdsmen are killing people. But you haven't had any person in this country condemn the herdsmen of Nigeria for killing hundreds of thousands of Nigerians. You haven't had them condemn the killings in southern Kaduna. So the security agencies are being encouraged to recklessness. And recklessness is not about spoken word. Recklessness with gun, killing Nigerian citizens. So if anybody, when Nigerian citizens see the details of the Supreme Court statement today, they will marvel at how, after saying all these illegalities that the federal government and their security agencies committed, all they had to do was that the primary court said, the appeal court said that the primary court had no jurisdiction. So they condemned the appeal court for taking that decision. Therefore, because the primary court had jurisdiction, the case should go back to them. So if in all these atrocities they committed, they had killed Nnamdi Kanu, what will be the basis of the primary court and its jurisdiction? What will be the basis of it? And look at the whole panel, about 7 judges, not one Igbo man, not one person from the southeast, not one person from the south. So it's a contrived business to put that boy, to put him behind bar. And we have been asking that they should turn him to Kuje prison. They refuse. Why wouldn't they allow him to go to Kuje prison? Why keep him at the DSS? Why? So it shows you that Nigeria is not interested in fighting insecurity. Because if they were interested and they love this country, they would have seen that Nnamdi Kanu is a major instrument that will bring security. Southeast will be a beginning. The other parts of the country would have been a follow-up. So it's unfortunate that you condemn security forces for the crimes they commit and you exonerate them by keeping Nnamdi Kanu there and asking that we go back again, to start case from, Federal High Court Abuja. What actually is the sin of Nnamdi Kanu? Asking for justice for everything. That's what he's saying. That the Southeast has been completely, excommunicated from everything that happens in this country. So we pray that this young man, I don't know whether you have had the privilege to speak with him, one of the most brilliant young men you can ever come across. Not only is he brilliant, but well spoken. Why This one shows you that we have no values. Can you imagine a boy that a whole zone respects? A whole zone respects him. Who else, apart from M.I. Okpara in those days and Dr. Nnamdi Kanu, they don't have as much respect as this young man. That would have been an advantage for Tinubu and his government with the National Security Advisor to say, look, how do we seriously start to curb this insecurity in the country? If this boy is so loved by his people, why don't we sit him down and discuss with him, know where he's coming from? If there are things he's agitating against we can solve, we start doing something. And look at Northwest and Northeast. Look at where the country is today. Everywhere is war, killing people. Killing is no more, it's an admirable, concept in Nigeria now. Any day nobody is killed, you don't hear it, then it's abnormal. But in a normal day, hundreds killed in herdsmen in Plateau Plateau, in southern Kaduna, in the southeast, then not to talk of the bandits and Boko Haram in northeast and northwest. That one is a daily occurrence, killing hundreds of them. We're a country without statistics. If we have good statistics, people will riot to know the number of Nigerians who are dying. Every town now, in all parts of the country, people are burying people. People go to bed, they won't wake up. So it's all cumulative effect of total insecurity. Probably you do work somewhere, nobody pays you. You are working for somebody, you are not paid. You go to bed, you are thinking of what you will tell your wife in the morning. You can't pay school fees. The man goes to bed and won't wake up. And will say, God, please take my life. Why am I living? When a man cannot take care of his immediate family, what life is it anymore? And you don't want people to react. Young men leave school, no work. And they see somebody who rigged an election and goes to Abuja and he buys a armored plated jeep for 160 million. And you want him to go and sleep. His parents sell their property to train our young men and women, and they come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They can't say good morning, thank you to their parents. They will look at their parents without any hope of tomorrow. Parents who have trained their children, we should have hope that their children should get back to take care of them. But it's not the case in Nigeria. And we don't appear, our legislators are not interested. Executive all over the place are not interested. So I don't know how this problem will be sorted out. I normally find it very difficult to discuss a profession that I'm not one. But common sense also tells you that you can reason. If somebody is talking, you can reason. But it's painful because some patriotic peoples, I saw 1 or 2 senators there who left everything they were doing to come to the Supreme Court with some hope. Because if you listen to the judgment of the appeal court, it was fundamentally very literate, accommodating on every aspect of it. So people were very hopeful that the appeal court would uphold the judgment of the Court of Appeal. The Supreme Court will uphold the judgment of the Court of Appeal, and that would have been a case done for. But unfortunately, because if you were in the Supreme Court, like I was, we were there as early as 8:30 in the morning, and when he started running this judgment, on every aspect of that case, he condemned the Supreme Court condemned the federal government of Nigeria. In fact, they used the word illegality not less than 20 times. The killing of people at Nnamdi Kanu's father's compound, they even named the number of people killed, the rendition from Kenya, how he was kidnapped. It was difficult to believe that after condemning the security services for unauthorized and unorthodox behavior, kidnapping Nigerians and killing people anyhow, I have never seen a court with that kind of finality in terms of condemning public officers who were working for government, telling them, you don't take the laws into your hands, only to finally, because they said they disagreed with the appeal court, that the lower court had no jurisdiction. It was the basis of what they are doing, that they should now go back to that court because it has jurisdiction to hear the case in the first place. That's just a matter of time. So if Nnamdi Kanu dies, after all this illegality, what case are they going to hear? This boy has been under detention for how many years now? Even the Supreme Court was asking all these questions too. The illegality that has been meted against him, and yet they still will go back again to the federal high courts, where we then will start begging for bail. Even condemned the government, that court, for revoking his bail. That was the exact statement of the Supreme Court. So you don't even know the basis of their final decision. So, you know, when people say that there is a judicial rascality in this country, you cannot but agree with those people. Because unless it affects you, you won't appreciate why they said so. Because when you at the whole Supreme Court, I mean, everybody bent his face down. All lawyers were so astonished. To talk of embarrassment is an understatement. But in all cases, as a Christian, we give glory to God.